Tyler, I'm so excited to interview you because you come with high marks of an example of a small business and a family-run business that's making a difference in your community. So you run one of your businesses run a roller skating rink, correct?
I do. That's correct. Yeah, and I'm excited to talk to you. So hopefully we can both learn from each other. So
Yeah, and I just like to take a minute to talk about what it's like to run it because I learned about you from a local roller skating rink in the area.
right,
We'll put their link as the below as well. And they said I said you need to be on Snapchat if that's the group you're with.
right.
And he said, look at this group. This is a
Yeah,
guy doing it. And I started looking and I went, he gets Snapchat. He's
yeah,
got it. I mean, and now you're part of my Snapchat class, so I thought it'd be good to interview you
yeah.
and talk a little bit about. Why don't we start with just how'd you get into Snapchat, and your age group really mostly is under 25. Would that be
Yeah, and I'll start kind of like the whole scenario of like my whole world, I guess, is that, because we own a very small business in a small town. So we own a roller skating rink, and it's located in Titusville, Pennsylvania, which is approximately 5,000 or less people. So we have a very small demographic and market set. So we've owned our skating rink for about 19 years. And in the last 19 years, I'm primarily the person that has to do with, interacting with the kids. I'm the DJ, I'm the marketer, I'm the website designer. I'm literally everything that has to do with the face and the marketing of our business. And over the last 19 years, you have to evolve with the kids. And for the longest time, it was Facebook. And then right after Facebook, it was Instagram. And then once the kids started getting younger and the technology kept moving, I had to keep up. And the next big thing was Snapchat. And my audience is primarily 12 and younger, and that's where they're at. So I have to keep going and make sure that I am advertising where my clients are at. And that's where they're at right now is Snapchat. And it's
and you
great.
pro- and you probably didn't wake up go, I'd really like to learn a new social media platform, did you?
No, no, but at the same time, like I'm a person that loves technology. I also high school science teacher, so I teach biology, chemistry, and anatomy. And then every evening and weekend, we run a roller skating rink. So with the combination of the two social, age groups and demographics, like they keep me in the know. So like I knew Snapchat was out there. I had kind of messed around with it like personally, never thought about using it for business. And at the very origin of Snapchat, it kind of had a bad reputation. And I don't know if
Well,
you're familiar with that.
oh, I'm familiar. It was the secret place for people to do things we won't discuss.
Yeah, pretty much. Everybody just kind of assumed that, oh, you can't use Snapchat as a professional form of media and you can't use it for advertising. And there's basically, no place for it in the business world. But once I got into it, started messing with it and seeing that my clientele, at least, were very young, they weren't using it for those purposes. They were using it to share stories and fun things and, kind of neat filters. And once you get messing with it, it's awesome because it has so many things built in already to make you look more professional. So I definitely recommend everybody tries it.
I think the key you said is they were using it as really a messaging tool. And that's what people
Right.
need to understand with Snapchat is it I had the hardest time getting a grasp around it because I was trying to map it onto other social media
Right.
platforms.
It's really
And
not.
and none other starts with the camera as the center point.
Mhm.
And it's really about a new way of messaging that the younger kids, to me, have just grown up into. So
Right.
this is like a conversation to them,
Right.
and that's where it's often the missing point.
Right.
And the exciting thing I have to tell you is just to keep an eye out for Sky-Vue Skateland,
Yeah.
because she's working hard to dig into it. And the thing I admire about both of you is if this is where my customer is,
Right.
then I need to learn it. And
Right.
you wouldn't believe how many business go, well, I don't like it because people misuse it, or I don't like it because something else. And the truth is, they don't like it because they have to learn something new,
Right.
and
Well,
go ahead.
and what I would always respond to that is the people that are not willing to kind of keep up, or they don't like it, or they don't want to leave, they don't want to learn a new skill. I would always respond, well, do you not want to make money? And do you
Right.
not want to, I guess, connect with your clientele? And you just kind of have to force yourself for the betterment of your business, or maybe your own personal growth as like a person or a business person. You might have to. And I mean, a lot of these are intuitive programs that have been designed for kids to catch on. So the very initial stage of it seems very kind of daunting. I know myself with Snapchat in particular, there's not a lot of buttons. It's a lot of sliding up and sliding right and moving around using your screen. And it seems like, oh, I'm going to accidentally send something wrong, or I'm going to end up, doing something, where I didn't mean to post that or send it to the wrong person, but literally find a young person, sit them down and say, okay, give me the one-on-one, tell me how this works, navigate with me, and get some people built up so you can start, using it not as a messaging platform. I use it for stories, and this has a platform where you can build really a clip or almost a small show of your entire day. And what I do is I try to turn it into like an actual show where I might be the host or the person that's mediating it, and my kids are the stars, and they like to be a part of it. So it works really well for my kids, and they love seeing themselves on it.
How would you say it has led to business? Because I can see it. I mean,
Right.
I can see a kid going, Mom, I want to go here,
Yes.
but I want to hear from you because that's, of course, at the end of the day, exposure doesn't mean more money.
Right.
It's more than that.
Right. I think that the biggest thing that has helped me is that because the audience is so young, and I'm trying to primarily target 8 to 12 is my primary demographic. And even though like a lot of rinks might have a little bit older than that or more middle school or even high school, that's my area. And those are the age of kids that are using it. And I've seen more and more of those kids in that age group liking to follow my particular Snapchat because it is like a small TV show. And now that they see that people are watching it and hundreds of people are watching my Snapchats, they think, oh, if I come skating and see I get a chance to be, shown and highlighted in the Snapchat story, and they go home and they'll send me like, hey, that's me in the video, or they'll comment on it, or they like to, do shout outs or something to where they get to highlight themselves on social media, and they view themselves as, being part of something bigger than, just roller skating. They're part of like a little show. So I'm seeing more and more kids coming and being drawn in because they have the potential of being part of that.
I love that because what I teach in the social media is it's about capturing the stories or setting up the stage for stories to occur. It's not misleading. It's just like, okay, this happened. Let's see if we can make this happen here. And you really do that. You capture the stories. Look at let's see. He's lying. There was the latest one was he's like lying. 2 kids were lying down on the Christmas tree and go,
yes.
We need to get up. And I want to tell you, if I were a parent watching,
right.
Another cool thing is obviously you have an agenda of creating a constructive environment for young people.
Right.
So I'd go, my son's over there sitting on the couch only playing video games. He just got 2 kids lying on the ground to get up,
right.
or at least tried,
Right. Exactly.
Doing nothing. And so I love that you've got content. If I was a parent looking in, I could get a sense of things because I think parents are so busy now and working multiple jobs that maybe they had parents that didn't give them tools to help raise kids. Or they're just so busy they don't have bandwidth, and so they really need that type of support.
Well, and I think what's facing any business that actually has an active, I don't want to say an active platform like roller skating. Our biggest competitor is not other activities and other places where they're going to go and be social. Our competition is doing nothing, and to actually show and highlight that the kids having fun doing active things is what they want to come and do and be a part of, and that makes good entertainment. It actually kind of motivates them to get up off the couch, get out, and come actually socialize with their friends in a real setting and communicate. So I think it's kind of a catch-22. I want them to come to my business, but I also want them to stay active and get out there with their friends and have fun and, be a part of something bigger than just a little blip on a screen. Be a real living person communicating and having fun with other kids. So it seems to be working. And the big thing we run into too is a lot of times skating rinks have like a vibe of, oh, it's older teenagers. Mine is not. And this has been helping because it gives you a clear snapshot of what my sessions look like. And the parents can, it's not misleading. They can see, oh, these are 8 and 12-year-olds. This is a safe environment. These kids are, being watched by multiple adults and entertained for multiple hours. And it's a good investment, a good environment. So it gives a good representation of, that we are a healthy, fun, safe to send your kids or place to send your kids. So it's doing the trick. So. Well,
I just want to say that's the same thing, my experience of Sky-Vue Skateland. Mm-hmm. And she's I heard her work with the kids and stuff. I'm going, you've got to get this online because this isn't just teaching social skills. This is teaching manners. Right. She said, I'm not going to have any profanity coming over the loudspeakers, so It's something where it's okay to have fun moving around with other people and learning to socialize. And a tragedy I think we see in our culture is there's so much easy stimulation without having to get out in the world. I think we all see the cost of kids not making some mistakes and learning to interact. I mean, I gave a talk at my university and have done it at other universities, and they'll say not many people interact. And I realized the reason they aren't interacting is no one gave them an environment to fail and make mistakes. It's safe.
Well,
so that they can build confidence.
Right, and there's a plateau. There was actually a point in time where kids were almost uneasy with being recorded and maybe potentially getting captured doing something silly. And I would say in the window of the last 5 years prior to now, if I was taking videos or doing something, there was a group of kids that didn't like to be in the spotlight because they thought, oh, what if I get captured doing something silly? These new generation of kids, they've been recording and doing silly things their entire life. They love fail videos. They love watching, fail army videos on YouTube. And now it's kind of humorous and almost gets you almost like celebrity or fame by getting caught doing silly things. And like what I try to emphasize to anybody that's just new into social media, especially Snapchat, I don't have to write a script. They're goofy. They do it all by themselves. I'm just capturing the moments, and I don't write a script, and I don't know what's going to happen that night. And there might be nights I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's going to be boring. I'm not going to have anything to Snapchat. I always have something to Snapchat. There's never been a dull moment or something that where, I'm like, oh, well, I'll have to come up with something. They do it for me. So they create the show, and that motivates people to watch it.
Oh my God, there's so much gold in what you said, because you are, it's not just letting them be the heroes, you're looking for the stories. And this is the thing, Tyler, I have the hardest trouble with businesses is to train their eyes to look and capture the stories that are right in front of them. Someone goes, well, they told something and they said, but I don't see a story there, because they think some type of, I guess, Star Wars epic story. And I go, in what you just told me, I think there would have been 100 stories in that time period of micro little things that occurred, but you haven't trained your eyes to do it. And basically, it's sort of like, Tyler, you're running your own healthy reality TV show.
Yes.
They want to be part of it. And you figured out that that's good for them. They enjoy it. Their friends see it. They have, to me, the biggest sin is just permission to fail. I don't know what, I'm just starting to see the consequences of everyone winning being a horrible way to build self-confidence. And it's so, I mean, I'm not a formal educator. I don't work with kids. I just see the tragedy. I go, you have no confidence because no one lets you fail.
Right. And that's big. And I think now too, what I think kind of set Snapchat apart from other forms, even apart from, YouTube, is that those stories I create, I mean, I save them, but the reality of it all, they're there for one day. They're there for 24 hours and they vanish. So I think in the back of their mind, they think, all right, if I did something foolish or was captured, it's gone in 24 hours. They can't save those stories. I can save those stories, but they can't. So they can't take it and, basically push it around person to person. So, if I get Jimmy falling and he's all upset and, maybe later on it's like, can you take that down? I gladly would. But if not, if I didn't get that response in 24 hours, it's going to vanish. And it's not kind of going to be trapped in their, history of failures, which I'm thinking back now, if I had a recording of all my histories of failures, maybe I wouldn't want that either. But it works really well. And the kids seem to like it because of that kind of temporary sense of it. And I guess, I don't know, this generation, the newest generation, those 8 to 12-year-olds, they don't care about failing as much as my high school age kids. They do still that sense of they're afraid because they've never been allowed to. Everyone's a winner. You get a ribbon no matter what. I always try to teach them, like in my classroom, like for there to be winners, there has to be losers. And that kind of constructs you to be a better person. And that's the same in business. If the worst thing can happen, you can try something new and fail. And guess what? Oh, try something different.
Yeah.
There's nothing that you're going to really lose except for, missed opportunities.
Yeah, that's excellent. Well, I want to talk a little bit more about just running a family run business, because you are in an area, I looked it up on the web. It's not exactly the wealthiest area of Pennsylvania. No. It's my dad's from Allentown, so I grew up where Allentown was a mini New York, and then there were times it went through where it looked like a war zone, and now they're trying to recover. But your whole area has had some tough years. And
Very much.
so that's the thing that I think so important in the field is speaking to the people who have limited resources, and you have regular audience.
Right.
You have a growing people want to stay involved. You have people coming in and not attrition.
Right.
So what's some of your tips with this? And also you understand the value of building multiple streams of income to work in areas that have more challenging money.
Yeah. Well, I think my biggest advice would be if you're in a small economic area, you can't expect sometimes for maybe your small business to do it on its own. I'm a full-time school teacher. My mom does not have another full-time job. However, my father does. He's a sales executive for a company called ITU. I teach a half an hour away. There are, without having supplemental income, our business is very good about paying bills and sustaining itself. But for you to actually be able to pull, an income off from that to support you over and beyond that is very difficult. In time, we hope that it can. But we happen to purchase a business, like probably many other small business owners. You had to invest a lot starting up. Our business had not been renovated in many years. And with my background, my father was a contractor for 16 years prior to this. So we do all of our own construction, all of the design, all the artwork, all the logos, all of the advertising, it's all been me. And so to benefit, I guess, to basically take advantage of a small area, you can't afford to maybe hire someone to do your marketing and your advertising, your website, and your painting and your graphics. You have to go and kind of self-educate. We're in a world where YouTube is just a click away. If there's something that you need to learn or do and you say you don't have the means to, look it up. I guarantee you there's an instructional video of how to make a website, how to design this, how to market. And I'm it. And I've always been a learner. I'm willing to go out and figure it out. So I didn't know how to make websites. I took a class. I didn't know how to maybe set up a security camera system, but I ordered it, I set it up, and I did it. I didn't know maybe how to design my logo, but I mean, I've always been good at graphics, so I made my logos. So you have to kind of be the one that to take charge. You get paid last, and that's one of the things in the small business model is that we always pay our employees, but sometimes if things are tight, maybe we don't get that extra paycheck, but it might go back in reinvestment in your building or maybe in your clientele or something new that you're promoting. Just don't expect that when you say someone owns a small business that they're riding high. And a town of 5,000 with I think our median income's probably poverty level 30,000 or less, and the majority are on welfare or a good percentage. You have to kind of make sure that your prices are reasonable. You got to make sure that your building's still well maintained to make sure that you become a location where places or people from further away are still willing to come to your business. So we do have a lot of parties and activities where they'll come 30, 50 miles and drive to us because we're now becoming a destination to come to.
Well, what was the number of birthday parties you've had in that area? That's
I just figured this out last week. At our little business, we do approximately 450 birthday parties a year. So I looked last year, we did about 430 regular birthday parties, and then the rest were all in private birthday parties. But and you have to be willing to be open. I've ran into multiple business owners that are not willing to, maybe back in the 70s and 80s, 1 or 2 days a week was all they needed for maybe their skating rink or maybe bowling alley or something else in a similar clientele. But now you can't. I'm open on Wednesdays. I'm open on Fridays. I'm open 3 times on Saturdays, and I'm open once on Sundays. And any other time is available for fundraising events. Like this Tuesday, we're having a fundraising event for Shop with the Hero, it's called. And it's where local kids get to shop with like a cop or an EMT or somebody that's a hero in the community. And there's a benefit tomorrow from 6 to 8. I coach our speed team. I'm the coach, and I have probably one of the largest speed teams out of any skating rink I've ever encountered. And I'm in a town of 5,000, yet I boast a team of close to 40 kids, ages 5 to 16. And I coach it. It's an hour a week. I fit it in right after I teach all day from 8 to 4. I coach from 5 to 6. So we're open 6 to 8. By the time cleanup is 9, and you haven't eaten. So you got to be willing to work. No one else works for me. I'm the only DJ. I do every session, and I'm there every Friday, and I've never missed.
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
You should be proud of that. Well, that's excellent. Well, I really look forward to working with you more in the future. And also, I heard you are available for speaking as well with groups, right?
Yeah, I'm very much available in the sense that the summer, because we do have our business slows down the summer as well as our my teaching, of course, is not in summer. So speaking for both on an educational platform or a social media or business platform, I enjoy that. And I like sharing information. And a lot of times, I can't help but notice a lot of times, get to an event and it's a lot of big city problems, but it's not the big city ones that are always struggling. Sometimes it's the little people. So I like to represent the little people. It's like the Lorax.
Yeah.
I speak the little businesses.
Yeah, and so do I. I'm right with you. I believe that's where the most important growth needs to happen. It's the most important area. It gives hope to our country collectively, and it's the backbone of our country. This is the working that funds it and it pays taxes and keeps people inspired and also, not only that, a business like yours, to me, for economic development is more valuable than a large box store that can afford to pull out quick. You can't leave just because another town gave you better water incentives, But what I've seen is the larger box that often the economic development people put a bow around are, to me, the most fragile businesses to bring to an area. And I still not sure. Some of them got the memo, but not all of them did. Now, it doesn't mean I want to turn down something that would give people jobs in an area. Right. But this not just gives employment and takes care of you, but it also gives hope to people to see this stuff.
Right. Yeah, and I welcome anybody if they want to find out more. We're on social media. It's the Rink Family Fun Center, and I keep all of my social medias all the same. So anything from Instagram to Snapchat. It's just the Rink FFC for Family Fun Center. They just find me on there. They can follow, they can visit, they can have a party if they want. So realistically, keep it all same, keep it simple, make it so you're easy to find. There's Google pages. There's, I have what is that thing called? I can't even think what it's called. The other one where it's like a rating business thing.
Right. Well, they have Google Maps and then they have Yelp, and you're on both of them.
So, I try to do my best to maintain it all, as well as have a website that's in place. So, yeah, you have to be present, and you have to have a social media presence, and you have to be able to be in a digital era. You got to accept credit cards. I have a lot of small business people that will still argue that they're refusing to, have some kind of a credit card endorsing, or accepting mechanism. I've used SquareUp for the last 5 or 6 years, whenever it first came out. I could be an advocate for SquareUp. I love SquareUp. You have to do it. You have to have cameras. You got to just be in the now, not be afraid to bite the bullet, make some small investments that hopefully over time are going to, be rewarding and not look back. So
sounds good. Yeah. That sounds great. Well, I look forward to finding new ways to work with you. I reached out again through Snapchat, and and you were great. Who is this? And we talked, so we got to use the platform of Snapchat, the network. Then we talked on the phone. Then I said, I want to interview you. I said, go screen me so you know who this guy is interviewing.
Random person, yeah.
Right? And then this happened. So this is another example of networking. So look forward to future interviews and working with you. And thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule
to
come on, and we'll catch up. I will put links below. So I'm going to invite people to check out all your resources, follow you on Snapchat. He's on Instagram. He's got Facebook. Like his page. Say something nice if you saw this video, and share it as well. And subscribe to the channel so we'll get more. So thanks again, Tyler. It was great having you.
Yes, nice talking to you.